Welcome in. True Sky Gemini. This is your reading for the month of June. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And on the bottom of the deck, we have the Shaman, which is equivalent to your Hermit card. So he's like the magic man with the inner wisdom. So there could be some of that energies foreshadowing this month for you. There could be some time where you need to spend some time alone on a bit of a sacred quest. The first card we have, however, is the Three of Cups. So definitely this month there is a theme of celebration with loved ones. Joy and optimistic celebration. Could be around, an event as well. And then for your crowning card here, we have the card of Sacrifice, which is equivalent to your Hanged Man card. So there is a theme here around there needing to be some kind of sacrifice. And once again, similar to the Hermit card, there is a very introspective energy and there's like a searching for inner wisdom, and that there might need to be some kind of sacrifice. So something in your life isn't working out and you might need to let go of that to move on towards what you do want in your life. Then we have here the Underworld card. So the Underworld card is equivalent to your Temperance card. However, in this deck, they do have slightly different meanings, some of the cards. They're more personalized to the Celtic pagan theme. So the underworld is the hidden realm within, where your deepest fears, hatreds, prejudices, and feelings of self-disgust live. It's the shadow side, that which lies buried and suppressed in the subconscious mind, yet can hold you in bondage, affecting thought processes and actions and preventing you from moving forward free and unchained. So this card is linked with the Sacrifice card as well. So that is interesting. Deep down, everyone shares the same fears. Fear of death, fear of being hurt, fear of suffering, fear of loneliness. However, at this time, you're being asked to look at your subconscious motivations and how you are potentially being held prisoner by your inner fears or by a suppressed experience you refuse to face, and deal with. This inappropriate response is weakening you and putting you in danger of becoming an emotional cripple. You may feel a rage that is inappropriately expressed, or your violence, emotional or physical, may be directed at yourself. You may be punishing yourself for things that were not even your fault. So there is that underlying energy here this month of the underworld. For the Temperance card, they normally say to suggest being moderate and balance your energies. So that could be really good advice with this energy. However, because we have the Sacrifice card here as well, it could be a really good time to, sacrifice these fears and these energies to free yourself from such influences on you. The next card we have also, which is linked to our Three of Cups here and also our Page of Swords and Nine of Swords, we have the Moon. So the Moon is a card very much linked with mysteries. There's always an unknowable factor with the Moon. It is also linked to magic and cycles as well. So It speaks of mysteries of regeneration. It indicates this is a period of change and fluctuation. Nothing remains stable or certain for long. It asks you to accept change and the cycles of life. It's time for something buried deep in your subconscious to be brought out into the light. It may be that you need to let go of something, a bad habit, a negative thought pattern, a destructive relationship, or an old hurt that is holding you back and stopping you from developing as you need to. You must change your attitudes. You are causing yourself pain. You cannot live in the past, but must continue to grow and face the future. What does not change stagnates. It's a good card for writers and artists as it indicates ideas from the subconscious to manifest as works of fiction, poetry, paintings, and sculpture. As artists call on their most painful experiences to inform their work, and writing down or drawing problems may help to expedite them. Spiritually, this card calls on you to pay attention to what your dreams are telling you. This is also an excellent time to develop your psychic skills. You will be more intuitive than usual and should trust your instincts. So that is the moon. Very interesting. Linked here with our Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords can be like a messenger. It is one of Gemini's cards. So it's interesting. It's the central card of your reading. You have got 2 sword cards in your reading for this month. So I do think it's going to be quite a, productive and strong month, depending on what you do with it. Obviously, for Gemini, having your central card as one of your own cards, I think that it will be a really good month to try to focus on yourself and, what it is that you want out of your life. Really trying to focus on, like it was suggesting, with changes going on around you and things that have been holding you back and how to let go of them. So the Page of Swords is all about mental capacity. It does suggest that it could be a person. So they are young, masculine or feminine, with a sharp analytical mind, eternally curious and always trying to get to the bottom of a situation or person. Once they have, they get bored and move on to the next mystery. They're often rather detached and impersonal. They like to be surrounded by people but rarely get close to any of them. They hate to feel pinned down, and commitment is not a word they like. Rarely involve themselves with grand causes. However, they live by their own set of ethics, which might be quite revolutionary. Arguments and logical persuasions will not shake them loose. They're a visionary with their own ideas, and practical matters do not interest them very much. Although always polite and kind, they may sometimes shock people just to see their reactions. They have a sharp mind and miss very little. They are useful when on your side, but in an opposition, they do not like to lose, and they're capable of using tricks to win. So thought is a powerful force, and it may be that you need to utilize your analytical skills or develop your own ideas rather than accepting those of others. So that's the central focus for you for the month. The next card we have is another major arcana. You have quite a lot of major arcana cards in your reading today, and it's the card of rebirth. So the card of rebirth is a very spiritual card. Obviously, rebirth is, that energy of, it's kind of like springtime, it's like after the loss and the death energies, you get the rebirth. So it's equivalent to the Judgment card. And in pagan philosophy, the eternal spirit evolves through several lifetimes, undergoing many cycles of birth, life, and death, and journeying toward rebirth once again, hopefully learning and growing with each incarnation. So just as there is a rebirth of the sun every year, also there is the symbolism of the rebirth with the return of spring. The soul is also promised new life with the rebirth, a link to the Celtic philosophy of the afterlife. So on a certain level, it does have a link to your past actions and how they are shaping your present, whether you'll be rewarded or punished. And obviously, because this is upright, it's of the most positive energy linked to these things. So you can have a new viewpoint at this time to approach the future. So it's also a card of change and renewal. You will move forward with new energy and resolution. It always represents a definite step. So it can also suggest a recovery of your health and vitality. So linking it here with the underworld card, which could be like mental health challenges or even physical or emotional, this definitely spells recovery from that, which is lovely. I would say definitely could be mental, but there's also emotional here with our Queen of Cups below. So it does suggest that there are definite patterns in your life, and it heralds a profound change in your consciousness, and that insights revealed to you now can be the result of past actions and choices, and that previously unrecognized patterns are made clear and seen of as part of the whole. So it really sounds like this month is really powerful for you so far. The next card we have is the Nine of Swords, which is a card of suffering. So the Nine of Swords is generally the card of anxieties, and it can suggest bad dreams, potential even paranoia and nightmares. It's not the most positive card. So it is linked with misfortune, great pain and unhappiness. Linking it, however, to the cards you have surrounding it, they're really not particularly negative cards. I mean, we have the Moon, so there is some unknowable factor here. We have the Page of Swords. He's very neutral. The Knight of Wands is a very positive character, so I wouldn't say that it has, really negative cards around it. So, yeah, so obviously you need to bear in mind the lessons at this time. It could be the end of maybe a relationship, the loss of a loved one, money troubles or illness. But at this time, there's a sense of oppression from your troubles, and it can lead to despair and deep depression. So be aware that your thoughts could be, very circular, and you might be tormented by fears of all kinds. And that suffering is part of life. It needs to be worked through and resolved. And it's important to understand the nature of your fears, which may stem from some past event or some half-shadowed guilt. That we all have fears, and that often the actual fear of the event itself is more than the actual what it is. So it does suggest that depending on your approach and attitude, it can help lead you to different new perspectives and also areas of self-discovery and even freedom from burdens in your life. So the next card we have is the Knight of Wands. So he is a very fiery figure, and he's not the most reliable, but he is very inspired. He doesn't have to be a masculine. He has masculine qualities. So he's very adventurous, And this could be a person in your life, or it could be an aspect that you're needing to take on. So they herald a time of action, potentially a sudden journey or a change of residence. They're brimming with restless energy. They love challenge, are virtually fearless, which is interesting because we've had the concepts of fear come up a few times in this reading. So maybe this Knight of Wands is helping you break through your fears, or you're needing to learn this aspect of your own self to break through your fears. They thrive on stimulation, danger, and risk. They are intelligent, witty, charming, and humorous, with high ideals, a philosopher and seeker after truth, incapable of lying. They hate any kind of unfairness or oppression, and often a rebel. Warm, generous, and lovable, they make wise and loyal friends. However, they have a quick temper, which flares up if they feel people are abusing their generosity. However, their temper is short-lived. And you would have to do something pretty bad to make an enemy of them. But if you do, they are formidable. So be warned, they are a free spirit and they hate to be tied down. Romantically, it's a difficult situation. Responsibility is not what they are looking for. They need constant stimulation of new experiences, new horizons, and new ideas, and settling down does not appeal. And then the last character we have is our Queen of Cups. So this could be another character that's really prominent for you this month, or maybe you're needing to learn some of this cup energy yourself. So our Queen of Cups is a very empathic type of individual. Generally of the water signs, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, doesn't have to be though. And she embodies the mystery of the feminine. She has different qualities and depths, is very active in her inner life. She helps to explore and experience feelings and pays attention to the feminine, which is also linked with intuition and psychic skills, which was also mentioned with the Moon card. So maybe this month could be a definite time for you to develop some of those energies. She, as an individual, can be rather languid and dreamy. She likes the attention of others, but doesn't do anything really to attract it. Also, she's quite fragile and easily hurt, and often withdraws into the solitude of her home. She retreats into it as a castle, is highly imaginative, artistic, intuitive, and potentially clairvoyant. Has a mysterious depth to her psyche that is unfathomable to the observer. Compassionate toward her fellow beings and very motherly. Will definitely help you in a crisis. So that's the main deck for the month for you. The clarifying cards I'm going to use are the Green Witch Tarot, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands has an energy that's very self-protective. It could be a time where you're feeling challenged or opposed by others, and that you feel that you need to, hold your own space, stand up for your beliefs, protect yourself, that kind of energy. So that's the shadow energy, which is interesting with the shadow energy of the first deck being the shaman. So maybe that even is on an inner level. Like maybe you're having some issues with like trusting people or something. Because the shaman is like, he's the magic man, but he's, he works on the inner planes, like that fight of like kind of good and evil, but it's on like the spiritual level. Okay, so for our Three of Cups, which is our celebratory card, we have the Knight of Chalices. So there could be some significant character that you are celebrating with or that you meet during this celebration who may even offer you, their cup of love. There could be a love offer coming in here with this Knight of Chalices. Then for the sacrifice, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So even though there might be some loss that's needed, there's some clearing of space here with this sacrifice. The Queen of Pentacles is all about material abundance. You know, she's a leader in that. She knows how to make more from something. She's often good at cooking, and she'll have a garden, and she often has children. There's a real abundant energy in her life. So even though, there's like some kind of sacrifice that's needed, there is so much abundance here that, it's kind of like you really need to choose like what to keep in a lot of ways, because there really is so much. It's kind of like you have too much, you need to downsize kind of energy. Here we have for the underworld, which is all about your fears and inner fears and, challenges, being challenged by your own fears and anxieties. And we have the Horned God. And so he has a father-like figure. He is a leader. So maybe you really need to step up this month and kind of be like that father figure, be that leader in working through your fears and your shadow self. Maybe, I know Geminis are often very literary sign, very intelligent sign. Maybe even having a shadow work journal could be a good way to work with that energy. And then for the Moon card, which was also talking about cycles and letting go and listening to your gut instincts and, that potential psychic intuitive powers, we have the Page of Pentacles. So this is a young energy here. Could be feminine or masculine, could even be a child in your life or a young person, and they are very good at manifesting as well, material opportunities. So maybe it is that you're needing to start some kind of new project on that, resource level, and you're really needing to use your intuition and your gut instincts to guide you in this manifestation here of that opportunity. Then for the Page of Swords, as the central card for the month for you, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Page of Swords is very much about, thoughts and ideas, and it's very strong on that mental plane. Could be an individual, but it could be you, because it is like a Gemini card, an air card. These thoughts and these mental ideas that you're working on could very easily lead to financial abundance, because the Nine of Pentacles is such an abundant card. The only warning here is that sometimes having that abundance can make you a bit thoughtless about it, and you can end up maybe overspending, or there is that risk there. So obviously be careful with that. For the Rebirth card, we have the Lady and the Lord. So some say this card is linked to the, divine masculine and the divine feminine, and there being a balanced relationship of mental and emotional, compatibility, which could be the case definitely here. And there's a rebirth of this. There's a rebirth of this relationship. So it could be a past relationship. It could be a new relationship also, because the Lady and the Lord, or well, the Lover's card does often signify a choice. So there's some kind of choice into what you want to rebirth into your life at this time. Then for the Suffering card, which was the Nine of Swords, we have number 9 as well, the Holy King. So he is our Hermit card, and he's very much about going in and doing the inner work to figure out what it is you need to do. So this suffering, even though it's on that inner level, you might need to face it on that inner level. And I do think that if you do have a shadow work journal or something like that, this could be a really good project for you to help face some of these anxieties and inner worries that you've been going through or you're going through this month. Then here for the Knight of Wands with the adventurous energy, which I did kind of establish that this energy could really help heal a lot of this suffering. And even it is somewhat connected to the moon, and, you know, it is kind of linked also with our other cards as well here. Definitely with the thoughts, this could really help, you know, this adventurous energy could really help you. However, the clarifying card is the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Pentacles is not the most abundant card. You have enough, like you're getting through, but there could be not the most generous energy around. You know, the way he's just looking at this person at the door and he's just hanging on to these things, you know, it's quite a slow card as well. It really slows things down. And there is that potential risk that you could be maybe too attached to material things. So that's something to be aware of as well. Then we have, for the intuition, the Queen of Cups. We have the Four of Chalices. So maybe this Queen of Cups that does come into your life at the moment, or who's prominent for you this month, could be quite dissatisfied with their life. And very discontent with what's going on in their life, quite bored, you know. Emotionally, they're just quite numb and flat. And this could be affecting you as well. It could even be linked, I mean, here it is linked with your rebirth of this love offer too. So I'm not sure if this is you're needing to learn these Queen of Cup energies, or if this is someone that you're involved in. But yeah, they're not the most, at this stage, they're not the most happiest person to be around. The next cards I'm going to clarify with are the Earth Magic Oracle. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Iceberg, Submerged. So there is an energy of being submerged this month, which kind of is linking with the, you know, that underworld energy, and even the moon and the rebirth, because the rebirth is like what happens after, you know, that significant change and transition, and there's that suffering energy. So yeah, there's a underlying submerged energy here. However, the first card we got is Shaman, Ancient Healing Wisdom. So it could be really good because we did have the Shaman as the shadow card for the main deck as well. It could be really good to look into, if you can, look into shamanism and these ancient healing wisdoms, because they could really help you with, with this energy, with you, you know, deciding what abundance you want to keep in your life and what you want to sacrifice, you know, because we can't have everything. We need to prioritize things. So this kind of wisdom could really help you in that this month. And then our central card, we have Dance, Celebration. So if you can dance, then, you know, maybe take a class if you don't know how, or just put on some music and you know, just do it for yourself, like in your own intuitive, you know, led way. But this is very good for your thoughts and your abundance, this dance. So dance is a very magical thing that we can do with our bodies. You know, it helps keep us healthy on so many levels, not just physically. It's really good for your mind and your breathing, and, you know, spiritually as well. All ancient cultures would have their own dances that were very important to them, and, you know, would often tell stories through dance. And, you know, dance was very important for humans. So the last one we have is childhood innocence. So this could be playing a really strong role for you this month as well, Gemini. So maybe you have children, or maybe this is about your own childhood. Maybe even when you were a child, you didn't have a lot, and there was some of this limited resources or materialism, you know, too much emphasis on material resources when you were young. Or maybe that's happening in your life at the moment with your own children. But yeah, I mean, the solution is that, adventure and, these positive experiences that aren't based on that are helpful to break up that, energy. So if you can, go on a journey or, that kind of thing at this time, it could be really good to leave behind your material resources for a while and just experience that and how different it is to not have, your stuff all around you all the time. And, whether or not that could even help if you are trying to downsize, you to really kind of focus on then what you do want to keep and things like that. I think the Marie Kondo, the magic of tidying up, I think that's what it was called, was really good. I actually quite enjoyed that one myself, because I definitely have in my family combination of, mental health challenges and also hoarding potentials. It's definitely there, and not just directly, but like extended family and things as well. So the next deck I'm going to pull from today is the Nature Speak Oracle. And on the bottom of the deck, we have Bring to Fruition. So there's something this month that is coming to fruition in your life at this time. That is the shadow of the deck, however. We do have another fruit in the center though. So the first card we have is Be Strong but Gentle. And so this was about this, I mean, here we've got the shaman, but it was also about this sacrifice energy with that material abundance. So it's something you obviously need to do. It's something you need to do. And to look at this ancient healing wisdom. And I mean, these people, they had quite basic lives, but they were still quite fulfilled, considering they didn't have a lot of the modern conveniences that we had. They still had quite rich cultures and practices and things going on. So it's amazing what you can do without. I think the age we live in now is really materialistic, considering like past ages wouldn't have been as much. So the central card we have for you for June is Apple. Believe in your dreams. So maybe this dancing and this celebration will really help you believe in your dreams. It's definitely very positive energy coming through those central cards. And then for the base of the matter, we have Cedar, protection. So this childhood innocence is very protected, which is lovely. The next cards I'm going to pull from are the